Yes, I'm keeping my hat on in the house because it is cold.
It is freezing.
It is so cold. We are finally, after a year or more of saying we're going to do this, finally doing it on camera, and that is make our spinach pie. It is something that I personally love. When I go to a restaurant and they have spinach pie on the menu, I usually get it.
Little Coney Island family diner.
Yeah.
Good, good, good.
And one of our sons, Nick, despised when we made spinach pie for dinner growing up. But for the most part, all the kids ate spinach really well.
They just came in from the garden, as you saw. Peeled back the snow blanket.
Look at all this spinach
Found
we
plenty
have.
of good spinach under there.
Some of it was frozen.
Yeah, there was... If the snow touched it, it was kind of burnt, but there was plenty for our dinner tonight.
Yeah. Just imagine when I have those new protection things, how good it's going to be next year.
Yeah. And it's supposed to get cold, cold, cold here next week. Like in the evenings, some nights it's going to get like into the negative, like belows, not below 32, below 0 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, so we definitely wanted to use this while we got the chance. It will definitely die in those kind of temperatures, so.
Right. So all we're doing right now is, despite Rachel's refusal, we're plucking all the stems off of the spinach, basically. Just, you peel the stem off, and that gets rid of all the bitterness.
I said it doesn't need it. If it was just me in the kitchen, I would not be taking this step. But Todd said, "Who's the chef?" Yes, chef.
So we're going to get that done. Then we're going to, we'll bring you guys in closer so you can see better what we're doing.
It's a little bit of a cheat meal for us.
It is a cheat meal. And when we used to make this before, where we lived at our old house, we made it
even cheater.
Almost exactly the same, except we used canned spinach with the picture of Popeye on the side of the can. That was what we always used. So we'll get this plucked off the rest of the way. We'll bring you guys in, and I'll walk you guys through the process of how we make spinach pie. It may not be full traditional
Greek, I know it's not.
European, whatever you want to call it. It's just Todd's version of spinach pie.
Yeah. Living on a dime spinach pie, the way we grew up making it.
Okay, while we're preparing some other things, we'll get this this is a nice deep pan. We'll get this warming up with some butter. I don't know if the problem is having a tall husband or a short wife. But
I think it's his tall husband, because how could you ever fit this on such a if we were both tall, it would just be the same problem.
Yeah, I guess so. So it's really hard for us to film the counter, what we're doing. Keeping her head in frame isn't really a problem, but my head, it's like
I said, just straddle. So he's down here straddling.
Do you guys want to see me, or do you want to see what I'm doing? I am chopping up 2 medium-sized onions, just really roughly. We're gonna toss this in that nice butter that we got back here on the stove. We're not going to caramelize them all the way. We're just going to get them nice and soft and get a lot of that flavors to come out.
And when do we put the spinach in? After the onions are done
once the onions are done all the way. We're gonna roughly chop all this as well, just because I don't want big giant chunks of spinach coming out. So if you're dealing with something like this, herbs, this works really well for. Try to roll them up as best you can into like a little tube. And then when you go through and you cut them, they're a lot easier. And the dogs are getting a treat.
So just while he's doing that, I'll tell you the other ingredients we're going to be working with. Parmesan cheese, ricotta cheese, lemon juice, eggs, garlic, pepper, salt, and then the real big cheat. Oh, you guys are going to be surprised. Tubed crescent rolls. Is that what it is?
Yep, but it's the giant sheet. Instead of like making like individual croissants, it's just a big giant sheet. So
what did we do?
Easy. Super easy. It's super tasty.
Yeah.
There's another story that we were going to tell you guys today. We really like lamb meat. And I was telling Rachel the other day that I think it was like 2 weeks ago we talked about it. Like it would be fun to get a couple little lambs, raise them up to be sheep, and then
No. You did not say that. You did not say that.
Well, raise a couple lambs, take them off to the processor. We have a really good processor now. We feel really good about them. Mm-hmm. Get them processed into, some nice roasts, some lamb chops, and a whole bunch of ground lamb meat because we like ground lamb meat. I thought about it for a couple of weeks and I talked to her last night. I'm like, you know what?
I really think I want to raise lamb.
I think I really want to raise lamb.
Or no, he said actually last night, the way he phrased it was, I think I really want to raise sheep. I said, I thought you wanted to raise lamb. Mm-hmm. He said, well, it's the same thing. I'm like, I mean, it is, but not really. I mean, lamb is baby sheep. Once they become sheep, they're mutton. It's different meat. He's like, yeah, you mean I gotta kill babies? I was like, well, if you want lamb meat, I think it's within the first year that it's considered lamb. And then once they're over a year old, it becomes hogget and then mutton. Well, bless his heart. Guys, I'm dealing with a serious softie here. You don't even know. He's like, I just don't know if I can do it.
Like when they're only like less than a year old, they're probably still going to be too cute. Yeah. And I won't be able to take them to the processor.
I think we can.
Well, we'll have to see how this goes. But someday, maybe, we might end up with some lamb on our property. We'll have to see.
And what did I say? If we're gonna raise lamb, you might as well let me have a cow. You guys know that was my second priority. I've never wanted to raise lamb or sheep, and here this guy comes to me and says, hey, I want to raise some lambs. And I'm like, where's my cow in all this?
We always said that we would once we retire. That way we're home more, we have more time to take care of it. And
now we work from home. There's no excuse.
Yeah, we work from home now. So is there still an excuse?
Guys, say no in the comments below. Say no.
I would feel better if we had a proper place to store said cow, like a proper barn for shelter. So maybe we'll have to build a barn and then we can get a cow. Onions are coming along nice. Got a little longer to go. They're still pretty hard. I don't really want hard onions in my spinach pie, so we're going to cook them a little longer, but not to the point where they get caramelized.
It has been so long since I have done this. My favorite thing to do when I was a little girl. Oh, I didn't do the big pop. Geez, we used to buy canned biscuits all the time when the kids were young, and I have not bought canned biscuits. Are you wanting these like this, like side by side, or like this way, or?
I want to fold them this way.
Well, it's not going to be long enough. We need both cookie sheets then. I guess I can't do this right either.
Those was it the Grand biscuits that we would buy from Walmart, and we would go grocery shopping every week. And I think every week we would buy four tubes of biscuits like this, and we went through 4 tubes every week.
Every weekend, almost every weekend, right? That was when we made our big breakfast. But anyway, I finally learned homemade biscuits are pretty darn good. Like my one son. I'll say I have one son that swears by Mom's biscuits. They're the best. So
do this.
Anyway, I could make this, guys. You can use your bread dough, use your pie, probably pie crust would be better. You know, if you're super fancy and you know how to make, you know, flake pastry dough, that would be optimal. But I would probably, if I had to make it homemade, I would just use my pie crust. But you could make it like calzone style with like pizza dough or bread dough too. There's a certain level of, what do you call it, nostalgia with certain food items. And I have another funny story with you. One of my nostalgia items that I tried, geez, we were still at our other home, but I was like, oh, I remember having this all the time growing up. And I grew up, we weren't like really well-to-do by any means. And my mom made, you know, budget-friendly meals, like one of those households where you kind of had to hide the cheese in the freezer to ration it so that people didn't eat it just all up. But one of my favorite sandwiches growing up as a kid I can remember having was, I don't ever remember having lunch meat in the house, but we always had hot dogs. And now I know why, because hot dogs are cheap. And we would slice hot dogs in half and lay them on mayonnaise bread and have like a mayonnaise and hot dog sandwich. And I was like, I can remember it like it was plain as day. This was the middle of the summer, and that's when I remember eating them when I was home from school. And I would make myself a hot dog sandwich, just like those good old days. I was so proud of myself, you know, the Miracle Whip, all those good flavors, those memories that you have as a child. And I took a bite of that thing. I was like, I don't know why I ever thought that was good. It was all I could do to swallow it, and it went right in the garbage. But this is a good nostalgia item.
Back to the stove. We're going to add some garlic to this. These onions are cooked up nice now. We won't leave the garlic in too long before we add the spinach, and we'll get that spinach nice and wilted off. No, I think it's good. This is pretty well cooked down now.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
Yeah. It really, really cooks down, so make sure you get yourself enough spinach, because we're making 2 pies, so that's probably half and half.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll move over to the rest of the stuff. All right. Just gonna put all this in a nice big bowl that we can mix all this together with the rest of our ingredients. Good to go now. We're trying to be well prepared for this. So we have ricotta cheese.
Oh,
It's all that like juice. 15-ounce container of ricotta cheese. We already stole a little bit out of this one for Rachel's dinner last night.
Yeah, we need the other. I like lots of ricotta cheese.
All right, we're going to go with 2. You saw how much spinach we had. We'll use 2 15-ounce containers of ricotta. These spinach pies are going to be stuffed.
Yes. I'm going to add in some Parmesan cheese. Todd said he didn't normally, but...
Oh, that's enough.
Okay.
Jeez, girl. That is a lot.
No,
Don't put
it's
that
not.
much in.
Don't. Yes, yes, you can. That was probably like a third of a cup, if that.
All right.
See, look how well that looks. And you still have to add egg and...
Right. So we'll do pepper. We're making a mess today.
We're hungry.
We are. We're almost hangry.
Yes.
A
teaspoon.
Yeah, teaspoon, a little less. Salt.
Should we add some allspice to it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I want to use my allspice grater.
Oh, your little grater thing?
Everything. They said allspice was good with everything.
Okay, some lemon juice. I'm gonna add, I'm gonna say,
2 teaspoons, basically.
yeah, 2, maybe 3. So I'm gonna add like 4 of these caps because we like it like extra lemony. And then with the quantity of stuffing that we ended up with here, we're gonna go probably maybe 4 eggs. And that's kind of just to hold all that together. Did I get a shell in there?
Yes, because you try to be all fancy. Then you got another one in there. And another one. That does not work, sir.
All right. 4 eggs.
Address the situation.
Address the situation. Well, this turned out way more runny than what I'm used to. I don't know if it's because we didn't put as much spinach as I normally put in.
It wasn't because of my Parmesan cheese.
It definitely was not. Parmesan will help matters. Or I put too many eggs in it.
I think he put too many eggs.
Or too much ricotta cheese. So we'll call this...
learn from our mistakes.
Learn from our mistake. This is going okay
I think
so far.
Yeah.
The
Maybe
eggs,
just 1 less egg. No, don't ruin mine. You do your own.
I got enough. I was helping you.
Oh.
Gosh.
No, I'm good.
We gotta like laugh snort out of you 2 times in this video.
Oh, Lord. Okay. That's good.
And I'll put more. I'll see if I can make this work.
So, you see what we did here. It is down the middle. I'm going to fold each over. That egg is going to set up good. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's going to be just fine.
And just take your edges and kind of roll them onto each other.
Or crimp. Whatever you prefer.
Oh, you're crimping?
I'm crimping.
I'm rolling. Yeah, I think that's going to turn out fine.
So the only thing I'm debating, I've never done this before, is, guys, I love my everything but the bagel seasoning. I kind of want to sprinkle some on.
Do you?
How long does this cook? Because that'll tell me. Like 20 minutes?
Yeah, probably. It's going to take longer than... So if you follow the instructions on the package for the
Crescent roll.
crescent roll in a tube thing, it's going to say maybe like 10 to 12 minutes. Since this thing's fully stuffed with cheese and egg and a lot of things, it's going to take a lot longer to cook all the way through. So we will time ours and tell you.
I think I am. I'm going to go with everything but the bagel seasoning. If you guys don't know, this looks like a purchased bottle, but this is homemade. I have a video to make your own. And it is like the bomb seasoning to put on anything. Todd doesn't like it so much, but I do.
You want to cut little slices in yours? Just so it doesn't, like, when the eggs start to cook that way, it doesn't explode. It's got room to expand.
I don't know how you did that because mine's not cutting through.
Want to help?
No, not at all. I'm doing my thing.
It's kind of like when we do our make our own pizza night. I'm in charge of my pizza. You're in charge of your pizza. Don't mess up my system.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. Okay. All right. So how long are we going to decide to cook these? Like 20 minutes?
We'll set the timer for 15 minutes. We'll check them at 15 and see how they look, and then we'll go longer if we need to.
All right. Guys, honestly, though, it was that fast, right? Whip it up. Saute some onions, spinach. Whip it up. You think you might mess it up, but it'll still work out.
Yeah, I thought for a minute there this video was a train wreck, but I think it's going to be good.
All right. Mine goes on top. And then you can switch halfway.
All right. Running for about 17 or 18 minutes so far. And they still got a little longer to go. I'm going to switch their position. Put Rachel on the bottom, Todd on the top, and also rotate them 180 degrees so they cook a little more even.
Looking good.
It is looking good. So I'm guessing maybe another 10 minutes on top of this just to get them
nice and brown.
Nice and brown and done all the way. So it's getting really close. I wanted to show you guys. You start to see little bubbles happening. So that's good. That means the insides get nice and cooked. They're getting real close.
Now mine looks good.
It does. So a couple more minutes. It's been 25 so far. And I think we'll let them go for maybe another 5 more minutes or so. Do you want to eat it like this?
Yes, it looks great.
All right. Well, you're going to call these done because Rachel's starving.
See, doesn't mine look better, guys?
So let's move these over here and then we'll get them cutted. We'll show you what the inside looks like because it's always an important aspect to this. We'll make up our plates. We'll do a quick taste test and then we are off to the living room because we just started, was it last night or the night before? We just started season 6 of Little House on the Prairie and we're up to episode number 3. So we're gonna sit down in the living room on the couch, eat our dinner and watch Little House on the Prairie. Get me to, here, come on down here. That. Held up, firmed up really nice. Stays together even though it looked very runny, almost too runny when we put it together, but it cooks up really nicely. The eggs will make it firm up. Smells wonderful. The inside insides are the same. Hers just has special seasoning on top.